We are the ones who don't know what we're fighting for. Give us a gun and send us all off to war. We are the ones who grow up in violent homes. We are the ones who don't know what's right or wrong. I know. We are the ones. We are the ones. We are the ones who are born into war. We are the ones. We are the ones. We are the ones who just don't give a fuck no more. No more. We are the ones who don't know why we're losing score. Give them a badge so they could send us to the morgue. We are the ones who are scared to walk out the door. We are the ones who don't know what we're dying for. I know. We are the ones. We are the ones. We are the ones who are born into war. We are the ones. We are the ones. We are the ones who just don't give a fuck. No. We are the ones. We are the ones. We are the ones who are born into war. We are the ones. We are the ones. We are the ones who just don't give a fuck no more. No. Get off his fucking neck! The man makes you know he can't fucking breathe! The man makes you know We are the ones. We are the ones. We are the ones who are born into war. We are the ones. We are the ones. We are the ones who just don't give a fuck. No. We are the ones. We are the ones. We are the ones who are born into war. We are the ones. We are the ones. We are the ones who just don't give a fuck no more. No.
Warning: this podcast features adult subject matter, adult language, and things not meant for children to hear. Viewer discretion is advised. You've been warned. If it's Thursday, no, you didn't shit your pants. You're tuned into the I'm No Joe podcast. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of appropriate ages, to the latest episode of the I'm No Joe podcast, the show where every armchair quarterback can feel like Eddie Bravo. Today, as like most days, I've got one of my favorite cohorts with me to get into all the shit talking and shenanigans, the fight announcements and fuckeries, all of the fun things that have trickled out the MMA pipeline since we saw you wonderful folks last. Before we get into all that, though, first and foremost, how you doing over there, brother?
Doing pretty good, man. Looking forward to a Chucky Olives main event fight night this weekend. Still
Hell yes.
think it's a little early for the boy, but we will always root for Olives around.
Damn right. Damn right. So, as we like to do around here, we are going to kick things off with a little bit of news and recent events, fight cancellations, fight confirmations, things of that nature, official rumor denials and confirmations, all the fun stuff that has trickled out the MMA pipeline since we talked to you guys last week. Not a whole lot going on this week, but the news that did come out this week is fairly big. First and foremost, tying into this weekend, just this afternoon, we found out that Mohammed Usman is officially out, so neither he or Walter Walker will be on the card in Rio this weekend. Usman did not give an official reason for his withdrawal, just that he apologized and they were not going to be able to make it to the match this weekend. So kind of curious to see what the fuck is going on there, but I'm sure we'll find out more as we get a little more down the road. Everybody's favorite fighter right now, Malcolm Wellmaker, getting back into action again this year. November 12th, UFC 322 live from MSG. He will be taking on Sari Saidi. Interesting prospect matchup here. Wellmaker is trying to really get some fucking momentum going, and if he gets through another one here, it's going to be well on its way. That ship is officially leaving dock, so time to start getting on board, in my opinion. That being said, couple of non-fight announcements here. The first one, we got confirmation this afternoon that former UFC title challenger Uriah Hall has officially signed with Karate Combat. No date yet as to where he will be making his debut, just that he hopes to make his debut before the end of the year over there, because he feels like the rule set and the striking styles that Karate Combat uses versus traditional MMA are a good fit for his skill set, and I can't really say that he was wrong in that. So it's kind of interesting to see. I'm curious to see who they match him up with to make his debut, because that could be a very fun one as well. Did not necessarily see this coming, but I also can't say that I'm 100% surprised by it either. We got word this week from Justin Tafa that after the weight miss fiasco just not that long ago, that he has decided that he is officially going to be stepping away from fighting for the foreseeable future. He's not calling it a retirement. He's just said that he has got too many things going on right now and that he is not able to focus on fighting, and that's not fair to anyone. So he is going to be stepping away from combat sports for a little while. Whether that means he is officially done or whether that means he's got some things that he needs to handle outside of the public spotlight, nobody really knows right now, but we will definitely be keeping an eye on that, because half the Tafa gang just stepped out of the spotlight. So we'll see how that one plays out as we go a little further forward. The next one here, we talked about this in a group chat the other day. I am fairly convinced that this is just another step in the ploy to try and get him to main event the fucking UFC White House card next year. But we found out that this week, Conor McGregor has officially been handed an 18-month suspension from the new USADA replacement, CAS or CSAD, I believe is how they call it. Combat Sports Athletic Drug Testing or something like that, for not one, not two, but 3 different location violations where they sent someone to test him and he was not where he was supposed to be, and they could not reach him to get his test taken on whatever day. 3 different events over the course of like 2 months last year that they're just now all collecting and getting together to quote unquote punish him for. The suspension is retroactive starting last September. So, last September. So he is eligible to fight again conveniently at the end of March 2026 with the UFC potential White House card aiming for July 18th or June 18th rather. So just after he magically becomes re-eligible to fight again. We'll see how that plays out, but got a pretty good idea of how it's going to go. Last 2 I've got here are kind of sad, but they absolutely deserve to be talked about. The first one, we got word this afternoon that Suman Mokhtarian, former UFC fighter from Australia, has unfortunately been gunned down in a drive-by shooting this week. He previously had 2 different shootings affect him, once outside of one of his gyms, or the gym that he generally trained at in Australia, and then once they actually canceled an entire local MMA event in Australia because he was set to be one of the local stars that showed up, and there was a call and report of a threat of a gang shooting at the MMA event. So He had been shot once before. They are saying that this is most likely gang affiliated, and it's just unfortunate, man. It's a fucking shame that it's come to shit like this. Um, Obviously, thoughts are with the family. But the last one we've got here is actually, ironically, a little bit worse, if that's even possible here. We got word Tuesday of this week that Arturo Gotti Jr. has unfortunately taken his own life at 17 years old. They found him hanging in his apartment exactly the way that they found his father hanging 16 years ago, almost to the day. Um, there's not really a whole lot to be said about that. Look, I know that this is a show about combat sports, but real talk here for a minute. Help is always out there. The links are always down in the description for this show, whether you are listening or watching. There are links in the description to get help. If you need help, reach out and get help, please. Obviously, our thoughts are with the Gotti family as well this evening, unfortunately. But that is the news that I have got for this week. You have anything over there that I might have missed, Christian? All right. Well, as much as that sucks, we are going to try and move on here. So, that being said, that will bring us to the point in the show here where if you've been watching combat sports as long as some of us watching combat sports, you start to learn what you like, when it comes on, how to watch it, and you start to develop your metaphorical set of blinders, if you will, and you start to lose the forest for the trees. Luckily for us here on the show, we've got ourselves a bona fide young person that's out there ever so diligently and ever so delicately fingering the pulse of the MMA world to help keep us abreast of all the names that are going to be names before they even are names in a segment that we call Slows, Cans, and Contenders.
Appreciate you, brother. So this week we actually had some decent moments on the Contender Series. I can't lie, it was probably one of the best fights I've ever seen on the Contender Series. Reminded me of the Stephen Bonner and Forrest Griffin fight of old from when I was a little boy watching that shit with my dad. That was good stuff, man. That's what got me into it. Was those days. Forrest was one of my favorite fighters growing up. These two kids went at it. They did what they're supposed to do. They tried to murder each other for the whole 15 minutes. Uh, Adrian Luna Martinetti versus Mark Volagdin. It was a fun little fucking scrap, man. Both of them got the contract. Now I don't always like that shit, because the loser they do it with the Ultimate Fighter at this point nowadays too. The loser gets in the past few years, and I just don't get that. But in this sense, I did kind of get it because the kid Volagdin is pretty fucking solid. Like it wasn't a bad fight at all. The guys were both tough as nails, and they just threw the fuck down. So I mean, it lost its technical ability in that second, third round. They both gassed out once it got halfway into that second round. But it was that thing you love, the thing that hooks you into this fucking sport. When a human being is so beaten and battered, and they continue to push through thresholds you never thought possible, and then at the very end, they're able to just kind of hoist each other up in respect. Uh, it was fantastic, man. Um, I'm excited to see Martinetti for sure. He definitely was the one that looks like he's got the brighter future. The kid is really good, I think, all around, but his striking was spectacular. The Muay Thai more than anything. Vincent even said it after the first round. That's what it seemed like to him. It was like a Muay Thai fight because Martinetti just was constantly throwing knees to the body, knees to the head, the elbows, and the elbow that cut Volagdin up. Like it was one of those gnarly, like literal corner gashes that just chunked a nice piece of his head out, man. Like it looked like he had a hole in his dome piece for the second and third round of that fight. They even had the fucking doctor look at the cut And I love the doc. Like Vincent, he was saying at the end of the second round, he was like, "Oh man, they got to stop the fight. They got to stop it. That's bad. It's a bad cut." The doctor looks at it. He's like, "Ah, no, I can take some more." I'm like, "Yeah, that's it. That's it, doc. That's the doc." It was literally what he said to the ref. Keep an eye on it, but it can take some more. I loved that shit. But we got a hell of a fight out of it. Excited to see what those kids do, and then and touch on the young kid, the flyweight, Imanol Rodriguez. He was on the Ultimate Fighter this year. The kid looked okay. He wound up losing to Joseph Morales, the kid who won. Uh, I think Imanol's got a brighter future than Joseph for sure. And Joseph already had his first attempt in the UFC. It didn't go so hot. So, I mean, good for him for winning the shit. But I'm excited for this kid. He's been training with DC. DC's been putting himself together a little crew, and some of them have been getting their chance on the Contender Series this year, and it hasn't looked that bad. He's developing some young kids that had some talent, but maybe needed to work on wrestling and shit like that. I'm excited to see what that kid can do. Laying his opponent out in the first round, like, face planting him. That was a nice sight to see as well. The kid's got some hands there at flyweight, so just touch on that. For once, the Contender Series was actually fun. Literally had one of the best fights. Even Dana was excited. Like, hey, I remember it was after the fight. He jumped up and he made the announcement with Laura. He's like, "Yeah, I'm giving both these kids the contract," and he gave them both 25K bonus. So, he's like, "I'm sending them straight to the hospital, so I might as well just make the announcement. I'm giving them both a contract now." So it was the first time his ass did that too, in the middle of the card before the end of the night. Awarded some contracts. It was a fun little moment. Now for this weekend, we're going to Brazil, and it's always a good fucking time. There's a good few shining lights on this card. There is some shit to work through. Janata Deniz, I don't think the dude's worth much. I thought he lost that fight against Martin Budai. Um, I thought it was kind of a screw. Wasn't that the fight that Budai had, or didn't? No, I'm thinking wrong because Budai won his fight and then got cut. I'm thinking wrong. Who was it? Who was it? The Denise just.
You're thinking of Buchecha. You're thinking of the Buchecha fight
Yeah.
versus Martin Budai.
So who was it that Denise his ass last fight? Did I put him in my notes? I did. Oh, it was Goozy. That's who it is. I'm forgetting. It's Goozy Hines. The fight that he just had here over the summer. And I thought, in all honesty, Goozy could have won that fight. Now, it did go to decision. He did gas out. But to me, it just showed like how much of a can Denise is. That this guy that came in from the LFA that's only had a handful of fights and clearly wasn't in shape to go the fucking distance. He did not look good, and he allowed the dude to clip him and gave him opportunities to get back in that fight. So I mean, I think going against this undefeated young kid that's got some finishing ability, Mario Pinto, I think Denise is going to get shown. He's not really worth much of a damn in the heavyweight division. I guess that's why I was thinking about Budai in any sense or whatever with his ass, just because he's one of those boring fighters. That's the other big thing. He's just in the heavyweight division, in there trying to get crappy decision wins. Nobody needs any of that. So another heavyweight fight that nobody needs any of. Walter Walker versus Mo Usman. You just throw that in there as a whole, because that's probably what we're going to get. If Walter Walker doesn't get another first round heel hook, it's going
It's
to be a
off.
boring ass decision.
It's off.
Oh man,
Mo Usman pulled out today, like literally like 4 hours ago. Mo Usman pulled out
well,
today.
at least that helps me out because I did my notes a bit this morning. And I'm like, okay, everything's all good. Nothing looks changed. Every week though, every week. So that fight again is kind of like the last card. I had that same situation. The fight throws itself in the damn trash. But
I was gonna
every
say,
fucking
trash
week,
takes itself out sometimes, man. You know what are
every
you gonna
week
do?
it's like the past solid 2 years, all the last year, all of this year, we can't get a fucking card. where every fight that they make stays solid, whether it's somebody misses weight on the day of, somebody gets fucking sick, somebody pulls out. There's some bullshit every time. All right, so the rest of the shit that I'm gonna throw in the trash. There's another dude at heavyweight. He moved up from light heavyweight, Vitor Petrino. I'll throw him in the trash. I don't think that kid is worth much. I don't think his attempt to try to go up to heavyweight is going to do him any damn good. I'm trying to find his ass on my note. Oh, yeah, he's fighting Thomas Peterson. That's going to be the real test. Thomas Peterson, he's on the fence for me. He's one of my contenders. I think the kid has potential, but at the same time, when you're grinding out those boring fights, you're not going to get far, even if the heavyweight division sucks absolute ass. The kid has shown some promising moments, though, like on the contender series in general. I think he got that finish on the contender series to get his ass into the UFC, and then he's won a couple of decisions since he got in there. He lost that fight to Gaziev. That looked bad because I don't think that was a true knockout. It was just more he got cracked and then kind of gave up. He didn't want to get up. He didn't want any more of it. So I don't like the look of that. But he's on the fence, if anything. But fucking Vitor Petrino, throw him in the trash. And then there's a whole few guys you can throw in there. Lucas Almeida, Ricardo Ramos, Luan Lacerda. I think all three of them are the same guy. They're all different, right? I think they're all even in different weight classes. They all have different names, but they're the same in the sense that they're a middle class journeyman. Their jobs at this point in the UFC are just to get knocked the fuck out this weekend or get finished in one way, shape, or form to make somebody else look good, or just be in a crap fight in general. Because Ricardo Ramos is fighting Khan Offley. That's not that exciting at all. Luan Lacerda fighting Simon Oliveira, another middle of the pack, middle aged dude. So yeah, these are just bad fights, bad matchups. The one that I like is Michael Aswell, the 25-year-old that's shown some toughness, but I don't know if that dude's an amazing fighter. He's like a Nate Diaz. He's a good street fighter. He looked tough as hell from what we've seen out of him so far, but I don't know how great he's truly going to be. We'll fucking see, man. But those fights as a whole, you could throw all the fights in the trash. But those three in general, they're dudes that shouldn't be in the UFC. They're only there to get beat the fuck up. They're like crash test dummies. And then Arena Alexieva. She came into the UFC being hyped up as a Russian Ronda. Like, that's her nickname, and they even tried to hype her up a little bit, and she's just been absolute trash. Um, I don't know how the chick Mosquito is going to do. I mean, I've even heard from you guys that she's not bad because you guys watch the LFA and all that all the time. But we'll see. And the biggest thing, she's 34. So the handful of pro fights, she's only 34. So you can't really call Mosquito a prospect or anything like that. Like, I did put her on the contender side more because we need something at bantamweight, but at the same time, you'd probably throw her on as a contender because his debut, you got to see what she can do. 34 years old, and you've had a handful of fights. You can't say she's going to be a true contender or a prospect or any of that. She's got to prove herself. But I mean, it's like men's heavyweight division. It would be really easy for her ass to get herself into that spot. So Figueiredo is my other on the fence guy. Figgy used to be a champ, right? And it's just that time. It's hard for dudes when they get to the middle age in those lower weight classes to get back to title form. I don't think we'll see Figueiredo get back to that point. Getting his knee fucked up. He didn't actually have anything tear, didn't need surgery after that fight against Corey in May. That's why he's getting back in there so early. But, just being older and shit and getting beat up like that, how great is he going to be? Is he going to be able to bounce back? He's still got the name. He's got the prowess, as you will. He could probably bounce his way up in that bantamweight division and still get a shot against Merab because Merab's already gone through so many people at this point. But He's lost 2 in a row. He's going to need a good fucking streak to actually bounce back. I feel like he's leaning more towards the Canish thing, but you know, it's just more the end of the career than anything. The true contenders, though, I like Joel Alvarez a lot. I'm excited to see that he's finally got a fight at welterweight. We've been hearing the rumors that he was going to move up to welterweight for a while. I think this is a great first test too. Vicente Luque, this will automatically throw him up into the top 15, and Joel Alvarez will get into some fun fucking fights after this if he can get through Luque. He's still fairly young, 32 years old. Kid's probably in his prime. He hasn't fought in a while. Will there be any of that ring rust kind of shit? But the most exciting thing about Alvarez, he's won all 22 fights by fucking finish, 17 of them by submission, 5 by knockout. You got to be excited to see Joel Alvarez fight. I mean, he was really climbing his way up in the lightweight division. It's just getting hard for him to make the weight cut. So we'll see how he can do in the welterweight debut. Yeah, I mentioned Mario Pinto. Excited to see what he does at heavyweight. You do have the younger kid, 25 years old, Lucas Rocha, 17-2 record. We'll see how that young flyweight can do. I'll keep my eye out on that one. The Clayton Carpenter and Jafel Fieldho fight the same way. There's some fun flyweight action there. I've liked Clayton since he came into the UFC. This is a nice little test for him. They'll be knocking on the door of the top 15 if he can get this win, and especially get it done in an exciting way. You got Montel Jackson. Can he finally do the same thing? Break through a little bit, get towards those rankings. I feel like he has had that potential. He's just never been active enough. This will be his second fight this year. This is going to be good for him. If he can take out Figueiredo, especially in an exciting fashion, man, even if he, like I said, 2-fight losing streak and he's getting up there in age, that would be good for Montel. We'll see what he can fucking do, man. And then you got the main event. I'm excited for it. Gamrot fucking stepped up. I was more excited for Fiziev, but Gamrot stepping up. It's going to be badass. I'm not afraid of Charles really getting knocked out. That was the worry. Charles getting back in there too soon after taking a rough knockout. But Gamrot's more the grappling kind of guy. He's going to try to rob him more likely than not. Just wear him out and get the victory through just outworking him. I don't know if he'll get the victory that way because Charles is so dangerous, especially in the grappling. I'm excited for a Chucky Olives fucking fight, but Gamrot automatically throws himself up into some serious contender position if he can beat Chucky Olives. This is going to be a fun fucking fight. It was a decent little replacement for us losing Fiziev due to injury. It's not as exciting because Gamrot's not trying to go out on a shield as much from what we've seen and kill or be killed, but I'm looking forward to it. I know we don't have the other boys here to give their thoughts on any of it, but I'm sure you'll agree with most of it. Maybe have some difference in opinions, but what do you got for us on that side of things, brother?
So without TJ here, I guess it's automatically my job to shit all over this card because there's definitely some stuff that can be shit on here. But I will say before I start shitting on this card, this is, I believe, the first card of 2025 so far that literally is on the road and has someone from the locals in every single fight. Every fight from the fucking opening fight to the fucking main event. There's someone from Brazil in every single match on this fucking card. So UFC definitely understands that they are going back to Brazil. And if they want those people to pay attention and to give up their fucking money and their time, they've got to make it worth their while. So they absolutely did that. Whether these fights all turn out to be quality or not, we'll find out on Saturday. But from the business side of things, the UFC did do very well here by putting a Brazilian in every fucking match heading back to Rio. So there is that. The other side of that coin, unfortunately, is that because this is a fight night and not a pay-per-view and a hangover fight night at that, because we just had 320 last week, that absolutely puts us into what we like to refer to as hangover territory here. Lots of contractual obligation fights. Let me be very clear. I love Karolina Kowalkiewicz. I will root for her in every fucking fight she has until she actually retires and stops fighting, whenever that may be. But I don't think that this fight against Julia Pilastri really does much for her one way or the other. If she wins, she beat an unranked girl who deserves to be unranked. If she loses, she lost to an unranked girl. Like, there really isn't a whole lot of upside for her either way in this. I'm not saying the fight's going to be completely boring. I'm just saying this is one of those fights where it doesn't really have any ramifications one way or the other for either career or for the division itself. This is the definition of a contractual obligation fight. And because Pilastri trains in Brazil and is Brazilian, that's the whole reason that this fight is on this card. I love Karolina, but I don't really feel like this fight is going to add anything to the card overall, one way or another, however it shakes loose. Irina Alekseeva versus Bea Mesquita is kind of like the worst kind of interesting fight that you can have. I know that's kind of a strange juxtaposition of words, but like, this fight is simultaneously potentially very exciting and also potentially the longest 15 minutes of this whole fucking evening here. Irina Alekseeva, like Christian mentioned, the Russian Ronda, has had a hard time living up to that fucking nickname, to say the very least. The problem is that Bea Mesquita has only had 5 fights total, and 4 of those were absolutely fucking cans. I watched all goddamn 4 of them. They were not proper fucking matchups for her. The closest thing she's had to legitimate competition in her whole quote unquote MMA career was her most recent fight against Sierra Dinwiddie for the belt in LFA, and I almost wish he was here so that he could scream for me. Flitlack was watching that fight with me. We were stoked because we've seen a lot of Sierra Dinwiddie's fights as well. Great fucking fighter. Tall girl for 120 or 135 pounds. So posed a whole lot of interesting matchups. She gave us a fucking Alex Pereira in that fight. She came out and froze from the get-go and just could not get her momentum going. And Bea Mesquita, to her credit, does not take much fucking time to initiate. So she got on and overwhelmed Dinwiddie because Dinwiddie had frozen in the fucking spotlight here. I don't think that same thing is going to happen, even with somebody of Irina Alekseeva's level. She's had a couple of fights in the UFC. This isn't going to be anything new for her. This is the point where Mesquita is going to be the one facing the newcomer jitters with the first time under the real big bright lights. Mesquita is, to her credit, probably the single most accredited woman in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu walking the ground today. Full stop. She is a fucking problem in jiu-jitsu on a world-class level with the fucking resume to back that up. But this is not jiu-jitsu. This is MMA. And even though it's someone like Irina Alekseeva, this is still UFC caliber MMA. This is not the B leagues and LFA. I love LFA, don't get me wrong, but it's the fucking B leagues, period. They know it, we know it. Let's not cut around the bush here. The B leagues are not the same as the UFC, period. So even somebody as unranked and low on the totem as Irina Alekseeva, I realistically think could give Bea Mesquita some serious fucking problems here. She's not the greatest in the world, but at least Alekseeva is fairly well-rounded, and she is a dominant judo artist in her own right. That judo will very much clash with Bea Mesquita's judo-esque style that she uses to get to her jiu-jitsu. This could go very bad for Bea Mesquita, and she's coming in here with a lot of hype because she went undefeated in her LFA run to get that title and then get called up to the UFC. This could very well be where that hype train gets fucking derailed very badly by somebody who isn't even fucking ranked here. This might have more implications negatively on it than the Karolina Kowalkiewicz fight potentially does. Because on the other side of this, if Bea Mesquita comes in here and just runs through Irina Alekseeva, She's 1-3 in the UFC, I believe. Like, she came in and shit the bed hard. She's basically here fighting for her career in the UFC and against stacked odds, to be kind of fair about it here, even in a newcomer in Mosquito. It could be very interesting to see how their styles clash, but I don't have a feeling this one's going to be the most exciting fight on the card, to say the least. I completely agree with you about Vitor Petrino. He's a dude who's basically walking around at like 250-ish and was just having too much trouble cutting to 205 and then facing dudes who were actual 205ers. And he thinks that now not having to cut any weight is going to save him going up to fucking heavyweight. And I think he's going to be in for a rude awakening here. I think we're going to get kind of a Jan Blachowicz situation when Stylebender thought it was going to be so easy for him to just go up to 205 and take shit over. And Jan Blachowicz said, "Hold my Polish beer," and fucking rocked him around the ring like nobody's business. I have a very big feeling here that Peterson has the potential to do that same thing to Vitor Petrino, because Vitor Petrino, to his credit, he's not a full-on can, but he is far from championship material, to say the least. Same thing with Peterson. He might not be a fucking world breaker, but he's a heavyweight who does his work at heavyweight and isn't a dude who ever tried to cut way below where he should have, like Petrino apparently was doing. So this could be a very big interruption in Petrino's run to try and make something happen as well. Kind of curious how that one's going to play out, because at heavyweight, we generally either get, especially in a situation like this, a cool, round and a half worth of fucking crazy car crash, or 15 minutes of walrus slap fight. And there really isn't any way to determine how this one's going to go. It could go either way, genuinely. But if this one gets exciting, it's going to be very exciting. And I would say probably pretty quick. So definitely don't snooze on the big boys here on the prelims. Carpenter versus Filio could be very fucking interesting as well. I don't know enough about either one of those gentlemen to be too terribly excited, but I know people who are excited about both of those gentlemen, so could be interesting matchup there. Kind of a double fuck you in my opinion here. One, I don't understand why Ricardo Ramos is still in the fucking UFC, but more than that too, why does this fight of all the matchups on the card need to be on the main card portion of the event? This fight screams you could swap this with the Vitor Petrino fight and no one would be sad. I promise you right now. You could swap this for the Karolina Kowalkiewicz fight and people wouldn't be sad. I'm willing to stake Ricardo Ramos does not get as big of a pop from the Brazilian crowd when he walks out as they're probably anticipating that he is going to. I think this is probably going to be the time during the main card for you to get up, stretch, get yourself a drink, take the dog outside, throw the old lady on the washing machine for a quick one, whatever you happen to be up to. This is probably going to be your time that you can wander off and not worry about missing anything too terribly important on the card. This fucking Yonata Denise versus Mario Pinto. I think the best way I could describe this is a potential drag race. This is not going to be too heavyweight to have the gas tank to go a hard 15 if they need to. This is very much Yonata Denise, who shows that he's decently well-rounded for a heavyweight against the cans that we have seen him up against at this point. Mario Pinto is a fucking wrecking ball, but doesn't really seem like he's got a 15-minute gas tank. This could be very exciting for the first couple of minutes. And this one, of either of the two, this one has a lot of potential to be a very 15-minute boring walrus slap fight event. Now, to their credit, both of these guys are big and they both have big fucking power. There's a genuine chance this fight's over in 25 seconds. No joke. But there is just as much chance during this fight of it being a 15-minute lay and pray walrus slap fight where both dudes are huffing and puffing to try and move on the ground by the end of the match. So I'm not terribly excited for that. The People's Co-Main event, though. Vicente Luque versus Joel Alvarez. I am very curious on both sides of this matchup. Joel Alvarez, Chris talked about it, said that he was having a lot of problems making 55, but stuck it out as long as he basically could. And 70 is where he should have probably been fighting this whole time. Throwing him to Vicente Luque for his debut at welterweight is no walk in the fucking park by any stretch of the imagination. Vicente Luque is a dangerous motherfucker anywhere that fight can go at any point in time. But Vicente Luque, like we say around here, is also standing on the green of 18, and he can see the cart girl standing outside the clubhouse with a cold beer waiting for him. Like, we are so fucking close to being there with Vicente Luque. So this is kind of a double-edged sword. Like, if Joel Alvarez gets past Vicente Luque, yeah, it's going to show that he's capable at 170, but that all depends on what Luque looks like, because there's also equally chance that Vicente Luque shows up and just doesn't have it anymore. The opposite side of that coin, though, if Vicente Luque shows up and decides to shut us all the fuck up, which is absolutely possible, Joel Alvarez could be having a very rough introduction to the welterweight division on Saturday night. This one could be very sad or very, very exciting, and there's no way to tell until they close that fucking cage behind these guys Saturday. So I'm absolutely here. This is one of the more exciting potential fights on the card, in my opinion. I have mixed feelings on this co-main event. I'm not gonna lie. I want to see Figgy Smalls make a fucking run at 35. He's one of the few guys that have stayed around for a long fucking time and then gone down in weight class, or gone up in weight class rather, instead of cutting down like a lot of guys seem to have been done lately. He was the flyweight motherfucker for a hot minute, and when it started to be a problem, he went up to bantamweight. The cut seems to be a lot easier on him. The problem is the UFC's not doing him any fucking favors, because I'm not personally the greatest fan of Montel Jackson. I just haven't seen enough of him to determine how I really feel about him. But what I will say is what I say on this show all the fucking time and will continue to say: credit where credit is due. Montel Jackson has showed up in the UFC with no fucks to give and no time to waste. The way that he melted Damon Blackshear when Damon Blackshear was on a fucking tear was almost scary, because he just 1-2 and shut the fucking lights off. That clip has been getting circulated a lot this week. Montel Jackson has power for a little dude. The problem is, so does Figgy, and Figgy's also got so much more, almost double the experience in terms of fighting as well. So this one could get real fucking crazy. I think it's going to be a damn good co-main event, in my opinion. The main event, though, I'm not going to lie, this is not going to be as good of a fight, in my opinion, as it would have been with Rafael Fiziev, just because of how give no fucks Rafael Fiziev is. Like Chris said, he is the with your shield or on it type of motherfucker. He doesn't come to win by points. He comes to win by fucking finish or get finished trying. I like Gamrot, but that's just not his style. And like Chris mentioned, the problem is, in my opinion, Gamrot's style really is more grappling or wrestling oriented. And that's not where you want to try and meet Chucky Olives. Not on his worst fucking day. We have seen that dude choke the best of the best of the best out when he was not at 100%. So in my opinion, that is just a bad fucking game plan. Stylistically, I don't think this is going to be the best matchup for Gamrot. That's not to say he can't surprise us just the same. But looking at it going in here, this really kind of feels like Gamrot's going to try and come in here and use more of his aggressive, more of his power wrestling and grappling style to try and get maybe a ground and pound kind of finish. Whereas Oliveira has and probably will always welcome all challengers on the ground for good fucking reason. That dude is a black belt amongst black belts. He can fucking get you. If you leave yourself open, he will find the opening and make you fucking pay. There's a reason he holds the record for the most submission finishes of any fucking weight class in the UFC. That ain't a fucking participation trophy, my friend. He earned that bitch. if you get silly, he'll jump that ghillie. I fucking promise you. So you got to be on your Wu-Tang shit and protect your fucking neck if you're going to try and go grappling with Chucky Olives. And I just don't think that Gamrot's got good enough defense to be able to survive this. Admirable game plan. Don't get me wrong. Admirable fucking game plan for a Dorito chip-shaped motherfucker like Gamrot to just think, you know what? I'm going to power hold his ass down and win this shit. May the odds be ever in your favor. Like, I'm not volunteering as tribute for this fucking one. Like, you're on your own, Gamrot. I wish you the best of luck, but I have a very strong feeling that Chucky Olives is gonna choke this Polish motherfucker out Saturday night to finish off that fucking home run evening in Rio de Janeiro. Lots of fun, but I don't think this game. I hope I'll say it this way. I hope that he's joking about this being his game plan. I hope that he's just throwing that out there to try and get some hype built up about this fight, because oh my goodness, if he really thinks he's going to go into Rio de Janeiro and out grapple Charles Oliveira, somebody might need to get that man another head scan pretty quick, because I think he might have bumped his head a little too hard.
I definitely think we're gonna be fucking shouting Wu Tang out this weekend, man. I appreciate your thoughts on it. Hopefully, we have a fucking good one this weekend. We know some of the cards gonna be rough, but if we get that good finish we're looking for, we'll be happy motherfuckers. Appreciate you, brother.
Thank you very much, sir. Always appreciated. So normally at this point in the show, this will bring us to the only segment that actually requires its own disclaimer, and we're going to do it anyway. So that being said, me. Tapology.com in no way, shape, or form supports, sponsors, or endorses the I'm No Joe podcast. Yet. That being said, they do let you go on the account, or excuse me, go onto their site and make yourself a free account and make fantasy style MMA picks like we do here on the show. They even let you make groups. So we made one. It's called I'm No Bookie, all one word, or group 965, however you need to find it. The group is open to the public. You are welcome and encouraged. Make yourself an account, join the group, and then let us know who you are. And we will hold your picks accountable with our picks in a little segment that this week is called Tapology with Meter. Thank you, Meter. You're welcome, Meter. Okay. So that being said, try and rock this out as quick as we can here. Last week was UFC 320, and we all kicked some pretty decent ass on it. The lowest person in the group still got 8 out of 14 correct. So even our worst picks were still better than 500. Everybody in the group did pretty fucking well this week, to say the very least. Winner of the picks for UFC 320 was this fucking guy right over here with 10 of 14 correct for 715 points. And god damn it, we were battling it the fuck out for the vast majority of that card, because right behind him was yours truly with 10 of 14 correct, but only 680 points on my picks here. The difference came down to the perfect and the semi-perfects. Like we say all the time, just picking who it is isn't always enough. You got to be able to get those perfects and semi-perfects here. This guy, 4 decisions correct, 2 perfects, and then 1 semi-perfect. I was right there behind him with 4 decisions correct, but I only had 1 perfect and 2 semi-perfects, and the perfects are worth more points. So he edged me out by just enough, but god damn it, well done, sir. Winner for last week is none other than Slow Bake over here. Unfortunately, if there is a winner, that means there also must be a loser. And last week, still, like I said, not doing bad at all with 8 of 14 correct for 505 was Vin Dog the Booty Hog. Vinny just couldn't quite edge out over the top there. He and Golf T were kind of going back and forth, but Golf T started to make a little bit of distance with a couple of good perfects there towards the end of the card. Like I said, though, still 8 of 14, not too fucking shabby to say the very least. So going back over to our current I'm No Joe Fall Grand Prix, we have got 3 more events left before we complete 2 more after this week. Standings as of right now, sitting atop the leaderboard with 42 of 65 picks correct for a total of 2695. That guy right over there, Christian, is rocking first place, but just 55 points behind him with 41 correct. 2640 is none other than Donna trying to get at Christian's heels. Just behind her with 39 correct for 2555 is Golf T Vapes. Just down behind him with 36 correct for 2330 is Vindog the Booty Hog. Below him, also with 36 correct, but 36 of 52 instead of 36 of 65. Yours truly, just 45 points behind Vindog the Booty Hog. So I am nipping at them fucking heels, and I'm behind Vindog the Booty Hog. So that means that in this last week, I have surpassed Don, and Don River Tour is now sitting in last place with 33 of 65 correct for 2160. Now, like I said, there are still 3 more events, so there is still absolutely time for this whole list to get shaken up. There is a difference of 9 picks. 33 of 65 at the bottom, 42 of 65 at the top. 9 picks separate the entirety of this field. So those perfects and semi-perfects mean more than ever right now. That being said, we don't have Golf Tee here, so I am not going to be using the MGM, but I am going to give you fine folks a little glance into some of the odds on this card here. Again, we don't advocate gambling on sports and MMA in particular, but if you are so inclined to do, then do so responsibly. And if you win a little money off the advice that we give you, maybe pay it back forward to the folks that help you make that money. I'm just saying. Wink. Patreon.com/I'mNoJoe. So, for this UFC Rio card, I will say the vast majority, as like most hangover cards, the vast majority of the odds on this one are very much coin flippy, but there are some, what the fuck did you just say, odds on this card just the same. Let me pull this down here and look for the biggest one real quick. I believe the biggest odds, are they still the same? They are. So a close runner-up for biggest odds here, the Julia Pilastri versus Karolina Kowalkiewicz fight. DraftKings is who we are using this week, and DraftKings has Karolina as the plus 400 underdog against the minus 535 favorite in Julia Pilastri. I can understand why they might have Pilastri as the favorite, but to have her as that much of a favorite is just a little stretched too far, in my opinion. If you got $5 to throw around and you're not sure where to put it, maybe put that 5 on Karolina, because she'll make you a little coin back if she wins it out. The actual biggest one, though, is, ironically enough, the other ladies' fight. DraftKings has Irina Alekseeva as the plus 425 underdog against Bea Mesquita as the minus 575 favorite. So that one's a little more understandable, and that one's also probably a little less likely that you're going to make any money, because Alekseeva, I don't know, she's got a chance, but that one's looking definitely more in the favorite of Bea Mesquita, to say the least. Most of the rest of the fights aren't here, are coin flips back and forth across the board. One other large one here, the co-main event. They have got Vicente Luque coming in here, or excuse me, the People's co-main event. I apologize. People's co-main event. Vicente Luque coming in as a plus 410 underdog against Joel Alvarez, making his welterweight debut as a minus 550 favorite. That one I can see. That one might make a little more sense than the others, but co-main event here. Figgy Smalls coming in as a plus 250 underdog, Montel Jackson coming in as a minus 310 favorite. A little bit more than a coin flip, but not much. And kind of how we assume those odds are going to be. Figgy Smalls has been around a little bit longer. Montel Jackson's a young kid trying to make his run up. Makes sense. So that brings us to the main event. Main event is one of the craziest odds of all on this card. As of right now, DraftKings has Charles Do Bronx Oliveira coming in at the minus 102 underdog against a minus 118 Mateusz Gamrot. Both fighters are minus underdog or minus favorites rather to win, but both are close to a coin flip on the minus side. There's not really any money to be made in this main event, but there is potentially a lot of fun to be had in that event. So that being said, that is what we have got in terms of odds here for you. And that is what we've got in terms of a show for you this fine evening. That being said, when we wrap things up around here Thursday night, that is not the end of the fun because we generally try to go live every Thursday night that there are fights to talk about. We go live here on youtube.com/I'mNoJoe. Also dual streamed live to twitch.tv/I'mNoJoe. So you can pick us up whichever side is easiest for you to get to. That being said, the replays also stay up, so you can also watch those later if you don't get a chance to catch us live. If you don't want to watch the replay, I also understand that because I too own mirrors. And for that reason, the week after we go live, we put those shows up in the all audio version over on anchor.fm/I'mNoJoe. From there, you can get it in your podcast consumption platform of choice, Google, Spotify, Apple, wherever you listen to podcasts, you can get it there free, just the same as here on YouTube or over on Twitch. If you like what we get up to around here, make sure you are subscribed and your notifications are turned on wherever you are picking this up. You really want to help us do what we do around here? Patreon.com/I'mNoJoe is the best way to do that for as little as $1 a month, as much as you are comfortable giving. You help us do what we do around here. In exchange for that support, first and foremost, we put your name on the end of every broadcast on the channel to let everyone know how fucking awesome you are for helping and supporting us. But more than that, we give you access to the unaired and unairable content. All the shit that got us kicked off of OnlyFans is all there for all our patrons to watch. I've got, I believe, 5 new things this in the last week updated just to Patreon only. We've got Patreon exclusive content being shot and uploaded as well right now. More in the works, so there is stuff there for just the patrons, more than just the typical behind the scenes bullshit as well. That being said, though, when we wrap things up around here, that is not the end of the fun because tomorrow morning and pretty much every Friday morning, that gentleman over there and his other half will drop their podcast, the Slow Bake and Contemplate podcast, over on Spreaker.com. Links to their podcast as well as their social media and their very own channel on the I'm No Joe Discord server, all down in the description. Whether you're watching or listening to the show, links are always there. Go click them and tell them how awesome they're doing.
Appreciate you, brother. And of course, he's not here with us. He's been taking a little bit of time off, but the brother Golf T Vapes has his own YouTube channel as well, and his show is around the same time as this one. Wednesday nights, you can tune into the Foggy Fairway. If you're into the vapes, you want to learn some recipes or mixes. When the brother's on it, he's on it. You got to tune in, fucking show him some love. Everything for Golf Tea should be down in the description as well. And then, of course, you got the brother Meter doing more than just this one damn thing. The brother does many things, so you got to check out, his link tree, right? The Meter does many things. You got to check out everything that the Meter does do. Show him some love as well.
Thank you very much, sir. Much appreciated. Yeah, I've got both of my links down in the description, whether you're watching or listening to this as well. Linktree/Meter does many things for all of my devil's lettuce and non-traditional content. We'll be live at least for a little while over there tomorrow, live from Vibe Day at the Treehouse tomorrow evening on that channel. But if you just want to talk punchy kicky shit, Linktree/I'mNoJoe down there as well will take you to everything I'm No Joe, the full library and all the goodies we have got here to consume. So pick and choose what you like. There is plenty for you to go after. That being said, that is all we have got for this particular episode. So until next time, boys and girls, remember, don't let ignorance stop you. You can root for anything.
Everybody was kung fu fighting. Those kids were fast as lightning. In fact, it was a little bit frightening. How do I say goodbye to what we had? The good times.